got
4 years that were not filed going back from 2010 to 2014. So I think this was a compromise in return for them not filing over the last 4 years.
Any questions from the board?
This property is currently occupied
Yes.
as a medical facility?
I don't know what's in
They
there.
just did a major renovation in that place.
Yeah.
It's just, just renovated.
In 2013 it was gutted, and it's being marketed for a medical office.
Okay,
So it was empty for a period of time.
understood.
Okay, any questions? Can I get a motion to approve? This one hurts, but I guess, I get a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Again, this one hurts, so we'll put that down to the
But the next one
pass
doesn't,
regime. The next two are good. Next two
140
are good.
Grace Church Street,
Yeah.
very small reductions,
Yeah.
5 and 3%. Again,
Yep.
nothing after 2010.
Yep,
And they, in fact, were withdrawn, which is a reflection that our assessments have
yep.
improved.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, and I like to see. Any questions?
Just wanted to...
Sure.
Since 2010, 11, 12, 13 have all been withdrawn.
Yep.
And that has to, that's a direct
And,
result of
yeah.
the strength of the assessing department.
Exactly. I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I think we had a similar situation here.
171 Rectory Street, again, very small reductions, going from 05
And then
to
withdrawn,
10.
yep,
And then anything after 2010 has been withdrawn.
beautiful. Can I get any questions?
No.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Bishop, this is what we've been waiting for, the moment we're waiting for. We select the moving company.
Okay, we're on track in terms of the move, and it's time to make sure that we have a moving firm in place. We tried to stay as local as possible. All of these movers are Westchester County movers, with the exception of Grable, the one in the first column.
Who are you
Well-
recommending?
Well, we're recommending actually not the low bidder, but the second low bidder, WM Movers. They're out of Elmsford, New York,
And why is that?
because they present the best value, we think, for the town.
Okay.
Grable, to give you an example, the low bidder is... Okay.
Let me ask the questions from the board.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it is the second lowest bidder, and we're just talking about a couple $100. So for the peace
Right.
of mind of moving our town offices,
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
I'm happy to go with your recommendation, Mr. Nowotny. Any other people have,
No, I don't like sometimes going with the lowest bidder can be a problem.
exactly.
I agree with Mr. Watkins.
Perfect. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks very much, Mr.
Thank
Nowotny.
you.
Okay, Town of Rye Sustainability Committee. Now, I guess we're voting here to establish the structure of the committee, Mr. Noto, is that it?
Yeah, you're creating the committee and you are creating its membership, so
Okay.
going forward, the mayors of the 3 villages would appoint someone, and then the school boards would appoint one, each school
Okay.
board would appoint one as well, and then you will appoint the chair, so.
Okay, excellent. Now,
Once this is adopted, the committee will then be created. I assume we'll reach out to these entities and ask them to appoint someone.
Now, our green board members that have really helped out in drafting this are Deputy Supervisor Villanova and Councilwoman Collins. Is this the way I know you guys had some comments on this when Mr. Arcaro sent it to you. Is this what you wanted, or did it come out the proper where you wanted it, or
Well,
did you want some further changes?
you know, originally it was a larger group of people, and I felt that it was too large to manage,
Okay.
even too large for the committee to manage themselves.
Yep.
Which I agreed with.
And I
Okay.
think that this, thank you. I think that this gives a good opportunity for the stakeholders in the town of Rye to
Terrific.
participate. Now, even though we're looking at this core committee of 7, it doesn't prohibit the schools or the other municipalities, for subcommittees or ad hoc committees to have more people involved. And again, the one thing that I've always liked about the town of Rye, and I've always been a firm believer in this, is that the town of Rye has the ability to do certain things that that villages cannot. Okay, the Town of Rye is very strong in that sense that it can be a clearinghouse for instances just like this. Also, the Town of Rye, as long as it's established, has the ability to apply for grants, has the ability to borrow, and has the ability to leverage those assets to help the taxpayers and to help the municipalities and the school districts. So that's important. So having the Town of Rye create this committee will give a great opportunity to the villages and to the schools to help on a much larger picture.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to create a committee that's made up of all different village inputs and create some unity there and work on a project that could potentially have a great impact across all of our communities. One additional comment is just a conversational piece. I'm wondering if we shouldn't consider making the mission more of a suggested mission for the time being until the core committee could weigh in on that.
That's an excellent idea.
That's
an excellent idea.
And then reassess.
That's an excellent idea.
In the first.
Yep, that's a
potential
great,
meeting.
fantastic idea, because the whole idea is to learn from the community as much as,
Right.
yeah, it's a great
So I
idea.
wouldn't want to lock us in. And
Yep.
I'd rather set it up for goals that the committee members could potentially weigh in
I think
on.
that's a wonderful. Could you, so modify the resolution accordingly?
Suggested.
Yep, suggested. Thank you, Town Clerk Vespian.
Sure.
Great. Other comments? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the resolution as amended by Councilwoman Collins?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Terrific. Okay, Town Assessor Canower is out of town. Mr. Byrnes?
Just one quick. I just wanted to alert the board that the monthly tax receivable report, the summary that I gave you today, the last page, page 11, it includes the new in-rem receivables that Town Attorney Noto has been working on. And there was 18 to start with. That one actually paid it at the end of August. So there are 17 properties, and the total taxes due as of September 30th is $721,000, and the assessed value of those properties is $6.3 million. So this is the class of 14 as I refer to it, and the class of 2015 is currently a lot higher. So we're hopefully, as these pay, and if they don't, then we go with the process of the
When do we foreclose on these?
Well, the redemption date is, I think, December 15th on these, so we would actually, not till the winter would we actually get into the actual
Right.
getting a judgment, but most of them pay. I mean, we
Yeah.
get about a 95% payment rate.
And where are we with with that woman?
I
You just update.
think I sent an email
Is she
out
on here?
to you. Huh?
Is-
No, she's the class of 13.
Right. Where's the class of 13?
I love that. I love
Yeah, I like that
the
too. Yeah.
controller. He really helped me out with that. So
It's the class of 13. Is that page 9?
let's see.
Should be.
Yeah, 9.
Yeah.
So can we just go through the class of 13 for 2 seconds? So is that first person not gonna, first group?
Let's see here. Where are you?
Page 9.
Page 9.
On page 9. I was looking on page 10. Page 9. Yes. Okay. These are Alcantara is paying. He's already paid about 90%. He's going to
Okay.
bring us
Well,
a check.
Just use the address.
Oh, I'm sorry. 31 Bush. 76 and 7 Inwood we are taking.
Wow.
Those have significant IRS and New York State tax liens on them.
What is that? Who wins in those?
Nobody wins.
No,
Uncle Sam
who
wins.
preempts?
Uncle Sam. Sorry.
No. Can't we pass a town law?
No. Sorry. You can wipe out everybody but Uncle Sam.
Are you kidding? So we're gonna lose money on these?
No. Now, we're going to reach out to Uncle Sam and see if we can make an agreement as to how we could sell these properties and get our taxes and then pay Uncle Sam whatever's left.
Looks like there's how much they was owed Uncle
It's a-
Sam?
Over 50 million. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. 18 Prospect we're going to end up taking, and 209 Union.
18. What's happening? Why would they? What
Well,
they get?
we haven't heard from him.
All right. So now is that value close to correct?
294.5?
Yeah.
It probably is.
Wow.
209 Union.
So wait, when are we going to have that property on?
Well, I'm working on it. So
Okay, but I mean, I want to sell it. We
Yeah,
should
I
put it,
know.
as soon as we get it, I mean, does the board support it, right?
Right.
Once we get it, let's just sell it, right? And not fire sale, put it on with the proper broker and get it properly sold.
Yeah.
Because that sells for that's our taxes for the year. If the gentleman hasn't shown up, he hasn't shown up. We've given everybody
Well, he did make a payment. Anyway, I'm working with him.
All right.
And then on 209 Union, actually, this is an individual who has not paid her taxes. I was requested to come to court and have a conference with her and the judge last week, which I did, and she still has not paid, and she owes over $47,000. So he advised her that she has to sell the house or get a reverse mortgage. She said she wouldn't get a mortgage. So he gave her until November 3rd to produce a listing agreement with an aggressive price. And if not, then we are to file the deed.
All right, so again, we're pretty clear, Mr. Nowotny, and this is we've quadruple backflips. Mr. Nowotny, again, this good search found somebody that helps people in this kind of situation. They've done everything they could. We've done quadruple backflips, but November 3rd is there's no negotiation, no give on that date. If that hasn't happened by then, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
And that's a significantly higher final assessed value, as you can see.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks. Okay. Mr. Byrnes, there was a article appeared, and we'll give the author of the article an opportunity to speak if he wants. That appeared in the Westmore News, New York Times, well, Westmore News, I guess, is in both this week. And I guess my understanding, and you'll explain it better. The Westmore News was correctly reported based on the erroneous information that they looked at. And my understanding is the bond lawyer used a template that he shouldn't have used, given the nature of the bond. We used that template and sent it out to the public, so the Westmore News was fully within its rights to publish based on the information that was sent.
Template, yeah.
Well, I just want to finish.
Okay.
It's sent to the public. But again, in the future, we'd love for the Westmore News to call us, because in this instance, in fact, there was a typo on the template, and in fact, we don't need to take it to a vote. But so would you just explain the situation?
The template was actually the extract of the minutes for the meeting, which was a template, and then you would fill in who attended, the time of the meeting for the vote. The vote was for a revenue anticipation note. It wasn't for serial bonds or bond anticipation note or ban. So
and a bond requires a 2/3 vote, and a revenue participation note does not.
A revenue anticipation note and tax
Simple
anticipation
majority.
note, just a majority, and the others require a major majority or a 2/3 vote.
Right.
So the meeting was a special meeting, and only 3 attended. It was a 3-0 vote, which was a majority of the board, even if the other 2 weren't present. So that the whole point is that to go out and get the revenue anticipation note to cover as you can see, the outstanding taxes for September 30th this year versus last year is up about $800,000. So revenue anticipation note is for $1 million, and we were hoping not to go out and get this because there is a cost with bond counsel and interest cost, but because of the delays in terms of the move and everything else like that.
And we should explain the other thing we should explain to the public is every October. Well, okay, the first thing, we collect $170 million in taxes every year on behalf of the villages, the schools, and the county.
Right.
Our budget is $3 million. So if there's a significant increase in the receivables, I think there's about a $500,000 increase in the receivables. $800,000.
Right.
We are out of cash.
Correct.
We have a cash flow problem. That cash flow problem occurs at the end of October when we need to reimburse the county $9-10 million every time, right? More or less.
Right.
So ultimately, we can work our cash flow fine. It's not a solvency problem. We've got the highest fund balance probably in the county, if not the state. But there's a cash flow problem that occurs in October of every year. If we had sold this building beforehand, we would have been fine. Since, however, the move was delayed, we didn't sell the building in time, so as a result, what we needed to do was do the revenue anticipation note, which I expect will be outstanding for a few weeks? till we sell the building, well, till we sell the building close. So 6 to 8 weeks, correct?
Right, well, it would be a 6-month.
Oh, we can't prepay it?
No.
Okay, so it's out for 6 months.
That's
okay.
why, that was part of the reason for the delay.
Okay, okay,
Right,
got it. All right. And then what's our interest rate we're paying?
about 1.5%.
Okay. So that's the part of the cost of the delayed move. And then I don't know if anybody from the Westmore News wants to come up and clarify. Are you guys good? Or did you?
If I could just
Sure.
Do you want me to stay here?
Yeah, please, just sit down and, yeah.
First, it's not the job of a newspaper to get pre-authorized for especially an opinion piece, right here. The word opinion couldn't be bigger. And it was our opinion that this notice that you place in our paper for the public to read should be correct to begin with. And I don't think a typo is the correct word. I think it's a mistake. And the town should just say, we made a mistake. But the question, and I just want to read it to you, and this way the people watching can also, and I quote the legal notice. The town board was polled, the motion was adopted by a vote of 3 affirmative votes, being at least 2/3 of the voting strength of the town board of the Town of Rye, with 0 negative votes and 2 votes absent, end quote. Our editorial goes on to say, 3 affirmative votes is not a 2/3 majority, as your document that we publish said. Let's see, a 2/3 vote of a 5-member board is 66%, and since you can't have a partial person voting, that would require 4 yes votes, not 3. 3 votes is only 60%. A vote like this is called a supermajority. All the question that's asked in this editorial is, so it begs the question, is the vote for the bond legal? Clarified, yes. Okay, but the problem is the information that the public had that was, actually, interestingly enough, if you read the whole thing, we didn't even notice that. It was a reader who read that legal notice who said there's something wrong with the math here, which is what we brought to your attention.
Sure.
And that is our job, is to bring things like this to your attention. Now, on that, you have bond counsel, you pay bond counsel. You have a town attorney who should review this. You have your board who votes on it. And the clerk who places it. Nobody caught the mistake. Because we did, I question that. And look, there was no harm done. Thank God that you guys got it.
What do you question?
What? I don't have.
You said, I question, what did you say? I wasn't clear what you were questioning.
Oh, I'm just saying is that we didn't make the mistake.
No.
And it wasn't a typo. Okay. Yeah, that's all. Yeah,
Right.
but that's not a typo. Typically is a mistaken letter or whatever.
Well,
okay.
so I guess the rebuttal would be the following.
Yes.
Clearly, we made a mistake. So I don't think anybody on this board is going to suggest for a second that we didn't make a mistake. And you correctly pointed out a number of us should have picked that up. So there's no doubt that a mistake was made. Now, let's look at the nature of the mistake.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just saying, because as you correctly pointed, this is an opinion piece. And I'm just saying, at the end of the day, how many hours are you spending right now on as a town councilman? 20, 30 hours? A week? Yeah, 20, 30 hours a week. All I'm saying is, so you got 100 hours of public service on the board.
Yes.
So I would suggest for some people might think, you know what? It's a little bit irksome for you to leap on what clearly was a mistake. Leap on that without a simple phone call to the town to clarify. I think, quite frankly, it's not really a fair-minded review of what's going on in the town. That's the first point. The second point is, quite frankly, and let me go on record as saying this, I am absolutely shocked at the audacity, and this is the audacity of the Cuomo campaign. At the audacity. Moreland Commission, the guy sets up a commission to weed out that cesspool that is Albany. Weed out the cesspool that is Albany. and ultimately closes it down. The New York Times, I hope and would encourage everyone at home to read the July 18th New York Times, not Wall Street Journal, New York Times, lengthy article about how he cynically closed that down. I would encourage you, everybody go on. He's got $44 million, $44 million, $44 million. Then he still wants unlimited campaign contributions, unlimited. There's no limit to his little pack where he's using legal technicalities. And then finally, God damn it, Startup New York, how many jobs? This is a $500 million campaign. How many jobs? How many jobs? Now, you may not want to cover the gubernatorial race. You have a state senator running for office. You have a state, well, he's not running, he's not being competitive. My question to you, Mr. Abel, is, my goodness, you got the typo, kudos to you. We made a mistake. But with the greater scheme of things, in a state where we're 50th, and why? It's not because we're taking care of our needy. If we were taking care of needy, I'd be great. If we pay the highest property taxes in the nation because we're taking care of needy, great. If we have the worst place to do business in the whole United States, when New York State is our capital, how does that happen? Why? Because we're corrupt. I said it once and I'll say it again. If we were in the community of nations, we're Afghanistan. We're Afghanistan. And so at the end of the day, yes, we made a mistake. But God damn it, why don't you say, hey, these guys saved $6 million. Hey, wait a second, they reduced taxes 61%. When I see those articles alongside the typos, and you're going after the corruption, I would feel much better. So I'm simply saying, you're absolutely correct. No argument in terms of the thing, but in terms of an opinion page, you're trying to provide perspective. And we just read today, we heard today, I don't know if you're here for it, the average property tax burden is 3.5%. Now that's scandalous. And, I would have thought that you'd be focused on issues that are of real importance to the village and our community rather than a typo.
Joe, I hate to say this. My job is not to help you. Okay? My job and the job of our newspaper is to have different ideas and look at things that happen. And by your attitude, by your reckoning, if our newspaper did that with the previous administration, you might not be here today. It was our digging also that helped make change. But we could have easily sat down with the Morbido administration and had private talks and told them what we thought they were doing wrong, and would that have been right? It's our job not to be a part of your system. Our job is to look at your system and see what is wrong with it. And this little problem may be indicative of a larger problem that nobody's looking correctly and looking at something as important as $1 million bond as to whether it was published right, whether, hey, I used a template. Maybe you shouldn't have. Thank you.
And I'm just going to respond. I couldn't agree with you more. Your job is not to help me. I would argue your job is to help the community. And that's what I think your job ought to be. You should be actually attacking issues of substance that have to deal with the community. But in any case, I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything before we move on to the next topic. Okay, thank you, Mr. Byrnes. The Honorable Mr. Mecca.
Honorable Supervisor Carvin, members of the Town Council, Nicholas Mecca, receiver of taxes, Portchester, New York, 45 Alto Avenue. You see the figures that Mr. Byrnes just presented to us, and you see that the receivables are quite more extensive than last year. We have just finished mailing out close to 800 notices. The combination of taxes that are a year old, and they're going for liens, and school taxes that weren't paid on time, the first half of the school tax that was due in September 30th. So I would ask the folks at home and in our audience, if you do owe taxes, please do your best to get that paid up, because it goes very quickly. Before you know it, we have the village tax coming in on December for Portchester, and then the second part of the school, and those figures mount up. You hear the in-rem people, the dollars become prohibitive. So it must be stopped in the bud, and everybody is happy, okay? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mecca. Mr. Noto?
Nothing to add, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Decresenzo. Sorry, well, let me do help back next now. Go ahead, Mr. Decresenzo.
Good evening. As you can see that Jefferson Avenue is pretty much completed. The bridge has been open to the traffic for more than a month. Everything seems to be going smoothly, and the only few items that have to be finished are concerning the guardrail that they're still working on with the bridge contractor. The other problem that we've been dealing with is the maintenance work on Otter Creek. I don't know, I handed everybody a handout tonight, and I'm just not satisfied with the type of proposals we're getting. Our engineers are not happy with it. They think that the prices are way out of whack and that there has to be a different way to approach this. And we have to have a few more discussions before we can come up with another idea to present to the board.
John, the bridge as it exists right now, what's the life that you have on that bridge until something must be done before it's flagged?
According to our engineers, we're in no imminent danger of being flagged for any problem. It's what they would consider a routine maintenance that should have been done this year. And hopefully we can get it done, if not this construction season, probably next construction season. At least we have a little time to work on it. It's just some restoration of a few steel beams and a closure plate.
That would be my suggestion to you, and I hope the board supports me on that. I would say to take your time. I was of the mindset a few months ago to let's see what we can do before the winter months set in.
Yeah.
But I strongly suggest that you do due diligence, and maybe we could select someone over the next several months and have this project ready to run in the spring.
By the time we hit the construction season, and then the biggest problem there is also it's over a tidal water, and it's only specific windows that can do the work.
Understood.
And they have a lot of regulations that they have to follow. So a lot of people are not interested in the job, so it makes it more difficult to find the right company to come in and do the work.
Agreed.
I have one question
Yeah.
about the Jefferson Avenue Bridge. Now,
Okay.
that was a precast bridge.
Yeah.
Were the railings put in were they precast with the sections, or they add the
No,
railings
they're bolted on, so there
Afterwards?
has to be either some modification to the existing ones or new ones have to be made
But
and put on.
They were bolted on afterwards?
Afterwards, yeah, it's not part of the precasting.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
So it should make it a lot easier for them if they...
Yeah, it's a modification that the contractor misread or misunderstood the DOT regulations as far as vehicular traffic
Yeah.
versus pedestrian traffic on the same bridge.
So Tom, you know what they're experiencing now is that you have the contractor that's trying to identify the minimum and then try to see what the least cost intrusive it is going to be to him, because the contractor is going to pay that bill.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
That's definitely on them.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Thank you very much, Mr. Decresenzo.
Thank you.
Town Clerk Vespia?
I submitted my report.
Thank you very much, thank you. And I stand by my view that you and Mr. Mecca are the two finest
Oh, thank you.
public servants in the state of New York. Councilwoman Collins?
No comment.
Well, I was going to let Mr. Nardi talk. Can you guys tell us about the move?
The move, well, we were there on Sunday, and they did a lot of progress since then, because Bishop showed us some pictures. It's looking really good, and they're moving right along.
So we're on track for November 7th?
Yes, sir.
There you
Hopefully
go.
Nick's desks are in, Charlie Zaba's desk is in.
All right, beautiful.
So, I mean, you can see the pictures, and it's coming along
Excellent.
great.
It looks nice. They did a really good job.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Good work, and thank you for all your time. I know you and Deputy Supervisor Villanova spent an inordinate amount of time
Every
on that.
Thursday morning.
And then some.
And then some, yeah, Sundays.
Yeah, I got an emails on Sunday, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anything else from Councilman Nardi?
Just for the people go out and vote on Election Day. You know, decide what you want to do. If you want to have appointed positions or keep it a voted position. So that's really what you need to do.
Thanks very much, Mr. Nardi. Deputy Supervisor Villanova?
But just to continue on the project over at 222, it really is coming along, and it's you're really seeing a lot of work and a lot of things happening there now. Just within the matter of a week, electrical, floor surfacing, the walls are being done, furniture is being delivered, HVAC is being buttoned up. So it's all coming together, and I think it's all coming together very well. And we are spending some serious time there. And between Bishop Tom and myself and the architect, we're questioning almost everything that's happening there, timelines, and the one thing that I said it last month, but I want to say it again. The contractor that we selected, he has a great crew there that's putting in really a great amount of hours because they want to make sure this job is done for us. And I know they work there Saturday and Sunday. They're working 7 days a week. They're working late at night, and they're doing a good job. I have not heard any complaints from the Village of Portchester, so I know they're being a good neighbor when it comes to the construction as well. So I appreciate that. So there are a couple other things I just want to touch on. Earlier there was some talk about politics, no politics, and things that happened in the past, and I think it was Mr. Hubert mentioned some things that from the prior board, and I never really talk about the prior board because in my mind it's the past, but sometimes it's good to make sure that people know what the past is. It's the whole purpose of having history and accurate reporting. So what we had in the past was that infamous $1 million no-bid contract. We had abused charge accounts, house charge accounts that were used for personal use from town employees. We had a bloated government that when I came into office here was a bloated government with not only the patronage jobs that were here and the amount of money that was spent. The government was also not transparent. So for over 3 decades, this camera that's in the back of the room now, for over 3 decades that wasn't there. When I was elected, that's what I did. So we have a great history of the changes that we've made. So and that's how long Tom has been with us, right? Tom was the first person to pick up that camera, and we appreciate that because what that does, it creates that transparency. So that's something that we're very proud of. We also work, and when I was here, Tom, and I was the one, not the four. When I was first here for those 2 years, it was a much different atmosphere. Mr. Abel will attest to that. It was a much different atmosphere. It wasn't one of nonpartisanship or non-political. Today it's much different. Today it's more of a business atmosphere. So, that's what I remember. But I never harbor any ill will, and I move on from that. And knowing how I was treated back then is one of the reasons why I was always aware of Michelle. I always wanted to make sure that she was part of the fold, and that the entire board worked that way. And the same thing with Tom.
Yeah, I don't, we get along. I mean, yeah, I'm a Democrat, but, we get along, we work well together. And, since I've been on the board, there's only 2 things I voted against.
Yeah.
And everything, because everything else I felt was right for the community.
And I would argue also that you vote against because that's what you believe, not because you're a Democrat.
Yes, no, not because I'm a Democrat, it's because of what I believe.
So
politics had nothing to do with it.
Right, so to my point, the atmosphere that we have tried to create here has been one that has been apolitical, that has been nonpartisan, and we've always tried to make the decisions and do what's best for, not only for the town of Rye and the operations, but also for the town of Rye, for the residents. That's what we feel is important. If it was a political thing for me, personally speaking, my mother worked for the town of Rye, raising 2 children by herself. She worked as the deputy town clerk downstairs, and she was there for over 2 decades. And when I got involved in politics, the prior board, what did they do? They fired a single mother of 2. Now, I could have, after I was elected, fought to give my mother her job back. I could have fought to give jobs for my friends, something I never did, because it's something that I was fought against and didn't appreciate why while I was getting involved in politics. So, you know, these are things that are important, and this is history that's true, and it's bless you, and it's reason why I hold this job very sacred, and making sure that I make right decisions. And just to look back on the past 7 years, and since we're having this historic meeting, you know, it looks like, you know, this board, including Tom and Michelle, we were able to reduce taxes, reduce the expenditures, increase the efficiencies both within the town of Rye and with everything that we do with regards to enhanced intermunicipal agreements. We just did another IMA tonight to help the village of Rye Brook. These are things that are important to us. We also focused very hard and tried our best to right-size government to make the town of Rye, even though it is first-class government, to really make it a first-class government. And then lastly, you know, our focus was to create a best business atmosphere. And by giving the town employees this new office space at 222, and really we're very proud of it. And I think when everybody goes there and looks to what the town of Rye has been operating in here with, you know, in some instances substandard conditions. You know, Hope, you lived through it here. Nick's lived through it here, because those are the only two, well, other than Bishop. But for the long haul, Nick and Hope have been in this building for that long time. They've seen the leaks. They've seen the remediation. When we first took office, there was a hole in the supervisor's office that had a bucket catching water. So this is what's important. And the reason why this move is important is because it's what's best, both for the town of Rye, and it's also going to help us on our endeavors going forward, right-sizing government and bringing taxes to an absolute minimum. So, and I want to remind everybody to go vote. Veterans Day is coming up. Please take the opportunity to go to the ceremonies and show the veterans your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Supervisor Villanova. Well, a couple of things for our last meeting. One, we're a couple of days ahead of Election Day. I'd just like to encourage everybody to go out and vote. You know, vote what you think makes the most sense for the town. I really thought tonight we had a very thoughtful and considered conversation as to whether or not it makes sense to eliminate the receiver of taxes and superintendent highways. I want to apologize to Mr. Abel. I shouldn't lose my temper that way. So I apologize, Mr. Abel, for doing that. Obviously, as you know, we're very passionate about what we do here in the town. It is embarrassing for us to make a mistake like that, and clearly it's not your job to do things for us. I would encourage you to, or like in the future, if you see things like that, give us a call if you could. You know, just to, you know, say, hey, look, is this the way it was supposed to be, or did you realize that? That'd be a request. Not for me, for the board, just so the public gets the right information. And yes, I think there is a lot of corruption going on in Albany, and I do think it's important that it be covered. I do think we have a failed state, and a more quiet, less emotional state. I do think we're Afghanistan. You know, it's one thing if we're 50th and everything because we're doing good by our people most needy. But at the end of the day, I'm terribly concerned about our future, both at the federal and state level. And I do think that, you know, so I do think that we, you know, if we could, in fact, just to follow up on Deputy Supervisor, if we could, I really believe, if we could engender the same camaraderie and fair-minded conversation. If you really think about it tonight, you know, Mr. Servey came up, asked to be heard, and we accommodated him. Mr. Nardi, and again, I want to point out, he voted the way he did, not because he's Democrat, because he firmly believes in those things.
Yes.
That's what makes America great. It's the genius of the group. You know, you've seen a lot of heated debates and consequential debates on this board. So I'm very proud of the approach we've taken. The one thing we've never wavered from is good government. We've done everything we could to deliver the best government we could to the community. And, you know, in this model American community, look, we all know that the idea hasn't gotten the kind of traction we would have liked. We haven't had the successes. But, you know, we've had some nice accomplishments. Look at that African-American cemetery. What Dave Thomas has done is spectacular. The Flashbacks play, Camille Lennon and Donna Crabari, an original play. And now we have fourth graders from our community going to see that, see that every day. So I just want to, and also I really want to thank the staff. The Honorable Mr. Mecca, Honorable Town Clerk Vespia, Superintendent of Highways Decresenzo, Mr. Byrnes and Mr. Nowotnik. We haven't known for 6 or 7 years where we're really going to exist next year, right? We've been looking at dissolving the town, and our staff has been with us every step of the way, working hard, fully committed, trying to do what's right for the community. And let me also include Town Attorney Noda. I always sort of think of it as a policymaker, but Town Attorney Noda, no one's worked harder for the town. No one's given us better advice than Town Attorney Noda. Really, every step of the way. I think he's an in-rem expert. I do want 10% of the royalties from your book when you write that book. But I think we've had in closing here. This building, I think we've had a lot of good decisions here, and I love the way Deputy Supervisor Villanova opens every meeting. May our decisions be fair-minded, dear God, and help us. So, thank you so much, everybody. We are going to go to executive session quickly.
No.
We don't need to.
No.
Okay, all right. We don't need to do that.
No.
So, can I get a motion to bring the very last meeting at 10 Pearl Street to a close? Who wants to make that motion?
I will.
Dr. Nardi. Who wants to second it?
Second.
And all in favor? Aye. Okay, thanks very much.